take that and midtown. She feels the evil, holding her ground. She is a warrior, a warrior. Ain't nothing gonna slow her down. She is a warrior, a warrior. She's taking this battleground. She is a fighter, a crier. She ain't gonna lose this round. She is a warrior, a warrior.
Hello, hello. Welcome to a special episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. I am here with the lovely and amazing partner that God has blessed me with and blessed her in my life. The wonderful, amazing Desiree Cruz. Welcome, sister. How are you?
Oh my gosh, every time I see that video, Nicky, I get so emotional because like we did that.
We did that. And if you have not seen our new flyer for that, that's actually what I see in the two pictures captured from Mary. She did an absolutely amazing job at capturing some amazing special moments. Christopher, thank you for that amazing highlight video and also capturing the essence of what we were looking for on that day. And I too get emotional every time I see it, and I can't wait to do it all over again.
Me too. I honestly, I see it and I'm like, man, I feel like we could make this double the power, double the impact, double the speaking, double the experience. I just think it's going to be absolutely incredible for part 2.
Absolutely. And we're not going to think about it. We're going to do it again because that's what we're called to do. This mission from start to finish has been just an amazing journey to be able to put a thought, right? Just a simple concept of heart-centered leaderships in one room and provide that platform to engage, to reflect, and to produce something so beautiful and really step into that power of professional and personal development. And with that mission, it was just hard not to be able to do it again. And again, you said double. I love that. Let's talk a little bit about that and what we're looking for to do in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, we're listening to the people. We had people leaving that event not wanting to leave. They weren't ready for it to be over. They felt that their heart was moved. They felt that they, were out of their comfort zone. They were able to speak and put that mission out, and all the breakthroughs that comes with that. They were able to get that videos and the photography and the networking and the food and just the environment of being in a room full of heart-centered leadership and what that does to the mission, what that does to the mindset, what that does to the network, what that does to the company's value. It's just been something that's been so heavy on us, hearing that feedback, saying we want this to be more, we want this to be a little bit longer, we don't want it to end, and so, you and I, as the heart-centered leaders that we really are, we listen to what the people are saying. And Nick, first of all, to be able to put so many heart-centered leaders in one room, that says a lot about you and I, that they trusted us to come and to show up and to be present. And not only that, but to take the microphone and step out of it. I think everybody together, even us as the leaders, we were students.
Absolutely.
Their speaking, their tips, their knowledge, we all grew together that day. It was a very much, we hosted it. Yes, we created the platform, but together as a unit, as women, as heart-centered leaders, it's like, it's what's missing. It's what's missing right now. And I just can't wait to be able to double that.
Absolutely. Now, there's a lot of noise on your end. There's probably some trucks going by.
It was a truck, yeah.
No worries. So with that being said, let's just go back to see what were the actual things that came out of that event that we're witnessing still today. I just want to send a shout out to our MC who's hosting her Passionpreneur event, that she also had some great connections and women that were in that room that are now going to be in her room.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, I know. I mean, Carolyn, she's just in her own, she's just a heart-centered leader in her own space, doing her thing, doing it well. And so, yes, to be able to sit back and see that they're all collaborating with one another, they're showing up for one another, they're on each other's podcasts, they're at each other's events, they're speaking at other people's events. Right now, I know Solana's going to be speaking at Tiffany's event. There's just so many different collaborations happening behind the scenes, and the friendships that have occurred and the intermingle of business that's been happening. That's all women lifting women, and that's, as the host, that's what we pray for. I just saw the picture of us earlier today. I was going through my phone, and I was making a reel for the Iceland trip that me and Jesse just hosted, and I saw a picture of me and you from the War Women BALM Global holding each other's hands and praying before the event. And in that moment for us, thinking about what we're thinking about what we're praying, and I know you pretty well, and I know you know me pretty well, and I feel like answers prayers or prayer answers prayer
Prayers.
prayers answered. I feel like we got all of it answered. I really do.
Absolutely. And my cheeks hurt because I'm just still smiling because as you're speaking, I'm just like revisiting the event because it just plays in my head over and over. And just to give another shout out to an amazing person as a whole. And I met through Jesse and your speaking network, which is Latasha Jimerson. She was there with you in Iceland after this event, right?
Yes.
That connection, being part of that group together, being able for her and I to take a road trip to meet Jesse in Jersey, to go to another speaking, pop-up event. And this is what happens when you get in a room and you really nurture those relationships, and you're able to have people just added to your life purposely, because God didn't do any of this by accident. He's brought us these amazing women that seen a vision, that believed in the vision and said, I needed to be there. And now they totally took advantage and leveraged that opportunity. And that's what we want every attendee and person that steps in a room with us to really remove everything that they've ever seen before, thought of before, experienced before, because this is a whole nother level. It's something new that I experienced, because I've been in multiple events prior to, most of them co-ed. I think this is the first like all women event for me, and to be able to be the host at a all women event, co-host, like how awesome is that? I was just thinking about when I did my getting it done this weekend, like that's the first ever small workshop that I ever did, or that BALM Global ever did, which is crazy because you usually start small and then grow big. But let me tell you, Desiree, I think this is your first big one too, right?
A women empowerment event. Yes, this was my
Yes.
first one. Yeah, yeah. This was my first word. It was my first women's empowerment event ever, and we host live events everywhere. So just to be able to say that we did that together,
Yeah. And we started big. We said no virtual event, no small workshops, no in person, where it's only intimate, which we love those things, right? And we need those things, and those things will follow. But we really knew that we needed the masses to see how this can be done and how it can be done well. And we're going to keep reproducing this, and we're going to keep making it better. We're going to keep partnering up with women that are ready to really step into their purpose and their passion and dig really deep into what's stopping them from doing, either this or something that they put their minds and hearts to. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's so important that you hit on that, Nikki. I love that you said that, because it's really about talking yourself into it, you know. And a lot of, and what I find a lot is people talk themselves out of it. But once you talk yourself into it and you actually kind of get the feel of it and see how things are going, and you see that, like, wow, there's a lot of value in this. There's a lot of value in me being around these people. There's a lot of value in the mindset that's forming in the room. There's a lot of value in being in an environment where people are impacting the world in a positive way. There's a lot of value in what she's speaking about, and how I can take those and use those in my own life, so that personally and professionally I am growing. I'm not standing still. I'm not going backwards. Entrepreneurship is a lot about taking risks. It's a lot about getting uncomfortable. It's a lot about understanding the value of time and people and all of those things. So talking yourself into it is one of the biggest things, because then once you get in there, it's like you sip the juice. Now you know what the juice is like, and then once you sip it, it's hard for you to ever go back. And that's the thing about personal development and professional development, is when you know you've sipped the juice, it's like you want more and more and more and more of that.
Absolutely. And we're walking testaments of that. Like I remember every first room that I went into, I always had an aha moment. I always had how can I make this Nikki? How can I bring this to my mission? How do my values connect with it? What do I want to produce as a whole? And what legacy do I want to leave behind? It's all about, again, the next generation, which was another big thing that we had in our circle. Was we had teenagers in the room. And that's where let's touch base on that, because what I love that you say is that being a mom, it is not easy, right? We have so many hats, we have to do so many things, and keeping our children involved in what we do. And, you know, I don't have a girl, I do have a son, but he has been in personal development trainings. I've had paid that extra dollar to make sure that he was in the room, that he sees what this can look like. But we made it a thing and made it a point that we wanted to bring young adults in there, right? Teenagers, people that are just figuring out who they are. And man, if we can get them to find their identity early and be confident in their skin, and be able to love themselves and produce something amazing in their life, like, who doesn't want to be a part of kickstarting someone's journey?
Yeah, right? I think about that, like, as a child, like, I didn't have that. And I was just thinking about your son this morning, actually. I know it's kind of weird, but I actually was thinking about him this morning, because I was like, you know, we did this. Because I was, again, I'm scrolling through the pictures and the things and stuff that we've done. And it's like, man, like, your son's going to say, my mom threw a women's empowerment movement. Like, that literally happened. And there's proof, and there's pictures, and there's impact, and there's breakthroughs. And, like, this is the positive leadership, heart-centered leadership that you're putting into him, even though he wasn't even in the room. And what that does for your grandkids. Because it's into him, right? It's into him, and then it's into them, and then it goes down the family line. I'm telling you, when people are brave enough to stand up and step in, it follows down legacies. It changes the trajectory of your entire family line. I mean, it just does. And for me and you to be able to say we did that together, as two women in 2024 who are full-time in entrepreneurship, this has been a moment for me where, you know, to be able to do that, to be able to create that sisterhood with you, to be able to have that behind for our families. I had someone recently say to me, Nick, and which is funny, I just can't help but laugh, but they're like, oh, you know, you don't really know these people, and they don't really, you know, how do you know that they're, you know, even people that really care about you, or they just fake that they're close to you just so that you guys can do business together, and all you guys do is swap different circles, and everybody, you know. And so I had this long conversation with someone who really was assuming a lot of things, and I said to them, you're assuming that I don't know them very well, but actually I actually talk to her more than I talk to you on a weekly basis. Her and I have prayed together more than you and I have prayed together. Her and I stepped into something that really leveled us up in a whole completely different level together. You and I have never done that together. Her and I have created a legacy that changes our family's trajectory. You and I haven't been a part of that. So I think you're misunderstanding what this is. I said, this is not just some stranger that I decided to do put my whole company on the line for, that I don't know nothing about, and I don't know who she is. And we are, this is not what this is. I'm blessed to have this as part of my life. I know her a lot better than you realize. And actually, she's my sister. She's a sister that wasn't biologically my sister, because what I've created is a place where we have leadership coming together to be bigger than us. And with you and I, we did that. And I'm just so honored. And I just want to put that out for the people in the back, that we did not just do business together. We do life together. That's completely different. And, the sisterhoods of this, because now I think about things like your son graduating and those teens in the room, and Willow specifically with Ivy's daughter, and me when I was doing the workshop, and I swear, Nicky, she was listening and taking it in. And I was like looking right at her, and I thought about my childhood and how I didn't have it. And my kids being in the room and helping with registration, and your nieces and my nieces and all the things that happened in that moment. It's much more than just business.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for defending what we've created, right? And what a lot of people fail to realize, that when they enter in this world of entrepreneurship, we're always thinking, and you said it at the very beginning, we always talking ourselves out of it, but we're always telling ourselves what we believe it is, what we assume it is, without taking the risk to put yourself in there. No, this what we did was not easy. It was easy in a sense that God put the two right people together, but it wasn't easy in a sense of, are we going to be on the same page on a lot of things? Like, we had to have tough conversations because we wanted to make sure that we were both ready and gonna step up, and it's gonna follow through, because again, we're taking a risk. But I love that you said that we do life together, and that we do. Like, we just celebrated a union. We all drove to Maryland to make sure that we saw Jessica and Raul get married, and we sat in a table with Tiffany Harris, with Ivy Perez,
and their spouses.
Yes, and their spouses, Daniela Roman. Like, this, what we're building, what we're making sure this is that it does stay a family, and it becomes a family that we didn't have, and it doesn't have to be blood. And it's really a movement of taking all those things that people been planning in our head, like, oh, you shouldn't trust them. What are you going to get out of it? You're just making them more money. And let me tell you, I've paid $2,500 to get on a stage. That's the most I've paid to get on a stage. And not once was I thinking, who got the $2,500? What I was thinking was, how am I going to leverage this thing? I didn't see it as an expense. I see it as a necessity, something that I had to do for myself to make sure that my mission to be visible, to be relevant, to gain my credibility as a speaker, as a coach. Sometimes that's what we have to do. That's actually as simple as that. So I never go into an investment or a collaboration with any negativity. It's always going to be positivity. And we're looking to create those opportunities. Like, life is truly limitless when you let go of all that nonsense and you create the path yourself.
Yep, and you just stay focused on what the mission and the calling is, and how to serve the people that you serve in the best way, and just crash out all the noise around you. And to be able to really stop the noise around you right in its tracks, so it doesn't linger, right? Because a lot of people will get into their opinions and their perspectives and all the things. And so when that's a really key part of heart-centered leadership too, is be able to stay focused on what the mission and the calling is. That's the best way to lead. I truly believe that, especially with two of them leading, that it's just an incredible piece to be able to bring to the table, and then have an environment where there's 100 of those kinds of women. So we've done the work for you. We've already took the bad apples out, and because let's not be naive. There are some people in business that are strictly sharks. We've taken that out, and we've said we're heart-centered leaderships. Come on in, and we've done all the hard work for you to get everybody here.
Absolutely. And people are placed in the room very intentionally, right? I think every connection that we had, every person that I had met for the first time never felt like I met them for the first time. It felt like we had been in community for years. And that's what you get at this event. That's like the first thing. You're going to be welcomed, you're going to be loved on, you're going to be all those things. And some people may not be prepared for that. And some people that don't know what this feeling feels like until you experience it is not going to know until you get in the room. And that's who we're inviting. We're inviting those that are still unsure, on the edge of figuring out what to do. They're lost on how to promote their business, scale their business, marketing, technology, all that good stuff, but also the mindset, which is really what stops us from growing or from stepping into that. And the first step I would have to say to any of the listeners here and those that you want to share this with is take that step. I took the courage to get in a room where I knew no one, where I thought I had no business in there. I had nothing to offer. And 2.5 years later, I have done already 2 live events. We're about to do a third one. We're about to go on tour. We've written books together, Desiree. We have another amazing collaboration with our community coming out. We got a sponsor, and that's only because we just stood consistent and stayed on the mission, because we didn't have room for the noise around us that was not feeding into helping us impact you. So
Yeah,
that's
commit
what I have
to
to say
the
about
soul. That's my favorite thing to say. Commit to the soul.
it. Yes.
When we commit and we commit and we commit and we commit, you become unstoppable. You really do. It's limitless. It really is. If you just commit to the soul, and that means with you first, right? Personally, so you need to commit to the soul, personal development. For you to be able to be the best leader, you need to put in the work for personal development, and then professionally, because that's a completely different phase, right? Being able to commit to the soul. And so you put those two things together, and you've really become unstoppable. And yeah, I'm excited for you, Nick. You've really done really just phenomenal with your leadership. You're just an amazing leader as far as women and getting companies together and taking women to a whole different level in their companies, and just what you do in your community and all those things. It's just incredible. And so why wouldn't I want to lift that? Why wouldn't I want that? Because the more people who are under your leadership are going to win. And then the more women who are winning, the better our communities are winning, the better marriages are winning, the more the youth are winning, and all of these things. So taking what we're all really, really great in and then putting it together is really the secret sauce of that, because we all lead in different ways. We all do completely different things. And like I said, you're the PDF queen, so nobody can do it quite like you.
You already know. You already know. You know, we got like 5 built like in the last 48 hours.
I know you did. I know
We have to keep track of everything. It's a lot of work over here that we're doing. Sandra, I have to send a shout out to Sandra and
Sandra. Thank you, Sandra, for all the PDFs.
Yes. She is our executive manager. Tony. She is our chief heart officer. She's doing all the email, the CRM, the backup stuff, and really keeping me on my toes. But I was just up till 3:00 the other day. But just making sure that what we do with Warrior Women BALM Global is absolutely top of mind always with everything else that we have going on, because this is where you get two centered heart leaders giving you the secret juice from start to finish, personal and professional, getting your mind right to get out of your own way so that you can build those passions and turn them into profit. So let's talk about what are our dates for this event. And we have some time, but you want to book in because it's going to be, like we said, it's going to be double days, double speakers, double the impact.
Yeah, so we're going to do it next summer. It's going to be in August, and it's going to be incredible. It's going to be in New York. So those are some of the pieces that we can leak out now to give you time and preparation to think about it, put it in your calendar, and plan it out so that you can make the best out of the movement that's going to be here, because it's going to be here and people are going to know that it's here, and it's going to be incredible, and we're going to make sure of it, and it's going to be better than the first one, and the first one was incredible. So we only will get better, we only will improve, and the value only will continue to grow. And so as leaders, that's what we want. We want to do that. We want to serve in the best way possible. We want to give you an experience that you're like, man, this has been truly incredible to be a part of. And yeah, so we're going to do it, and we're going to do it and do it times two.
Absolutely. So just stay connected definitely with myself and Desiree. If you have any questions now, you can always reach out to us. This is being built in real time. We already have ideas, locations, and things like that, but we are going to do it a bit differently. We are looking for, we are going to have an application process for our speakers. We want to make sure that you get the best content that you can walk away with actual tangible tools, because that's one thing about an event. You should be able to already leave with a blueprint. With a blueprint that says, today I'm...
Oh, I think we lost Nicky. Oh, I'm by myself in the show, but I'm going to continue this until she hops back in. What she was saying is that you're going to be able to know what the blueprint looks like. So knowing that each speaker is going to be able to come in and give you a tangible thing that you can take away so that you can use this in your own life to be able to push forward and move forward and to continue to grow. So yes, we are going to have a speaker application that Nicky Cuesta is going to make in a PDF because she loves those. And we're going to be able to give you that. And we're going to have some... Welcome back, girlfriend.
Right.
And yes, I was just following up where you dropped off, where there's a blueprint of the tangible things that they'll be able to take away, that we'll have a speaking application process for this time. And it's just going to be an incredible, fun journey to be able to fill out an application, say, this is what I want to show up. I want to show up. I want my mission to be heard. I want to pour value into the people, and understanding that we're up on there because we've come to a place of healing. We've come to a place in personal development. We've come to a place in professional development where we're ready to take the next step, to be able to get on that microphone and to be able to speak it into a group of people so that you can start helping other people with your message and your mission. It's never about us, look at me. It's about people here that we need to serve and that we need to help. So that's kind of what the process is. It doesn't necessarily mean, do you need to be a perfect speaker? No, that's not what this is. This is not I signed up to be a perfect speaker and I make $1 million doing it and I'm qualified, right? I just want to let you know that God nominated you, and you are nominated by God. And you don't have to be a perfect speaker to make an impact. And the application process is just for us to have clarity and for you to have clarity of what is going to be a part of the day. And so that we can serve the people coming in the best way possible. So don't be, applications are part of the speaking process. So don't be overwhelmed by that. Have fun with that. Have fun with the process of it.
Absolutely. And I think that is also going to help those that have spoken that don't realize that they're a great speaker. Because I've had come through people that are so hard on themselves in regarding to speaking, and they're freaking phenomenal. And their story is so powerful and impact that they don't even know the power that they possess. But we have been blessed to be gifted that eye and that ear for the ladies that we were able to pick for our keynotes. And we're going to take that same ear. And again, not all of these women were speakers. Some of them have been on the stage, some of them have been sharing their missions, but some also, even our VIPs, like, and they, oh my goodness, I'm just thinking about it. I'm thinking about Sister Sonia's speech. I'm thinking about Kim's speech. I'm thinking about Kathy Mincer, Kathy Lansku. Oh my goodness.
All the VIPs, yeah.
Yeah. I can go on and on about how amazing.
Yeah, it was a really good mix. It was a really good mix of, surprises and breakthroughs and confidence. I mean, I literally saw confidence I saw confidence go up. I saw fears go away. I saw empowerment in their eyes. Gosh, they did it, and they did it so well. And some of them, like Sister Sonia, where she had the smallest amount of time that she actually used, but she had one of the greatest impacts.
Yeah.
And those are those breakthrough surprises that I think she even probably surprised herself, because her message lingered.
Oh yes, I mean it's a Carolyn on a whole nother, response to that. That it was not even in the program, and we still ended on time, which was amazing. She kept us like amazing. The music was just so powerful. All the music that the ladies picked. Shout out to Ayana, who was our DJ. Also a woman out of Pennsylvania who stepped up as well and made sure that room was felt. That was just super awesome. Giselle with the pain plan. Martha Razzo, who came in from Chicago, who had a theatrical part to her speech, which was so phenomenal.
Yes, it was like a performance. Yeah, and I'm actually going to now. I'm going to be doing a workshop at her event in next week. So I'm going to Chicago on the 3rd to the 4th, and I'm going to be hosting a workshop for her audience for her event. So I mean, this is just how it works. It's just been so amazing, Nikki. The women just came, and they felt the room. They felt the leadership. They felt the clapping, the empowerment, instead of all the other things that could have happened, which could have crept into like, oh, I'm not ready. I'm not qualified. I'm not nominated. I'm, all these things.
That was like so non-existent in there. And that's the environment that we have created so well, where you come in as you are and you grow, because we always have room to grow. Myself and you, Desiree, we're always growing, always getting into new rooms, right? It didn't matter that we've hosted our event. Why wouldn't we go on another platform, on another stage, and continuing to share the message if the opportunities are presented and it makes sense, right? We're still investing in programs and coaching and all those things so that we continue to stay equipped as we all evolve. And that's what we all should be doing. So
definitely, I invest all the time, and not only do I invest, but I invest with my mission in the front. And there's been moments, and I know that you know this, right? Let's be a little transparent. There's times where like, man, you're in a situation where it's like, okay, so that's a big, huge risk, right? That's a jump. That's, but once you understand the value of what happens when you invest in the coaching that's going to get you the results, and get you to the level in these areas, things change. Your mind changes. Your vision changes. You start thinking bigger. You start thinking clearer. You start being around people who invest at those kinds of levels, who understand that it's really not that much money. So, like, I just want to say, it may seem like that in the beginning if your mindset is if you look at money in that kind of way, right? But then if you actually look at coaching in a because like I'm talking about like my beginning stages when I first invested in coaches versus how I am now, Nick, right? And I know that you could probably relate. Is I have really put a lot of money into my own investments and in a lot of my journey so that I was equipped, I was ready, I was capable of, we host events all over the world. That's not something that you can't not know what you're doing and just take on that, right? You got to invest so that you understand some of the things that coaches, they are able to spot your blind spots. They're able to show you the things that could happen so that you get in front of those things before it messes you up and pushes you back. So now I don't look at it as it's a lot of money. I look at it as I'm investing in myself because I know that this is going to produce so much more in the long run, right? And is it really a lot of money? Not really. Not really when you think about it. Let's talk about corporation versus entrepreneurs, right? Yeah. People are making on average about, just say middle class, people are making from 60 to 80 on average in corporations, right? So when I ask you for a really small percentage of that for all of my time and all my expertise in coaching, it's really not that much money if you look at it. Because, like, for instance, I was a teacher. I made about $40K a year as a teacher, okay? When you think about that, it's really so now as a coach, when I have clients where I teach people about transformation, I teach people about how to host live events, right, for my clients. It's really not that a lot. It's really not that much money when you know that those things that coach is teaching you is going to take you to a whole different level to make that exact money in such a smaller amount of time, and you get all your time back. You're not at a job 60, 80 hours a week. For the teachers out there, because I was one for a long time. I remember the day that I looked at my principal and I said, when you host events and you are able to do it in the right way and the front end and the back end makes sense, when you invest in a coach that teaches you how to do that and to make your salary from one event, Nikki, from one event, it's possible. If you and I can do it, so can they. It's possible if you have the right things in place like coaching. So there's my call to action for the people in the world right now. And I know that there's a lot of different point of views and perspectives and things like that. But, I worked 50 hours a week and I brought it home. And there are ways that people are making that in a weekend. And I want you to understand that is possible. And it's more possible than you realize if it's done correctly. And if we're doing it in the right way, it is possible for you, Nikki, all of us. It's possible. So, don't be afraid of coaching. Don't be afraid of coaching. Coaching can really take you to completely different levels. Without my coaching, without my husband's coaching, without those things, I don't know if we would be doing it at the level that we're doing it today. And Nick, I don't want to speak for you, but I think that you would feel the same way about coaching.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I have, my little testimony about that as I was working those 60 to 80 hours in corporate, overtime, weekends, missing important dates because of a project that needed to be finished. And going through all of that and becoming a realtor back in 2015. And not having time to market myself, to position myself for that business, right? Investing the time, the money, that test was one, not cheap. And I failed it twice and passed it, right? It was a whole mission to even get it. And going through the process, like I learned that wasn't who I was. That wasn't what I wanted to do. It wasn't bringing me value. I know if I had the time to invest in it and really dig deep into that, I would have been a successful realtor, but I made a decision. Okay, this is not me. It's okay when you have set your sight on something. I mean, I went to college and got 2 degrees, one in business and one in health information technology, because I thought they were going to have to drag me out of that company because I love what I did and who I worked with. But I'm not using that either. How many of us have master degrees that we can't even get a job because we're overqualified? But the jobs that we are qualified for, they're already taken. And when you're in that mindset, and we're just talking to the 9 to 5ers right now, right? Those that are still in their corporate job, and by any means we're not saying leave your job, because your
Right.
job should fund your future business. But if that is an exit plan, you don't want to wait till retirement to 65 where you really can't enjoy what you really want to do with that 40K a weekend or something like that. But there are opportunities, there are passions and gifts that we were given that we don't tap into. There are experiences that we went through that we can actually coach someone else and become a coach, right? So coaches have coaches. So, the investments that I've made have only, and at that time I didn't have a coach. So that I have the example of not having a coach and wanting to get into something and not succeeding in that. But as a personal choice, still not stopping the opportunity of building something else, which is
Right.
what I really love. What I wake up every morning and I'm happy and I love what I do, and I see the wins of my ladies and what they're doing, and being able to celebrate them and being able to have a phone call and say, "Oh girl, you did it too. I'm so happy for you." To be able to put that post up of someone else launching a book, launching a program, like what we've created, this whole no competition, like we can grow together as women. It's truly a movement, it's truly a mission, and we are perfect examples of what that looks like. And
So needed.
again, we can't make this up. We can only share what has happened. And we have all the tools that showcase that, and we're still growing and we're going to continue to grow. So I love it. So give us the call to action again, and say your final words on what you want to tell our audience, and we're going to have more, so definitely stay connected with us for sure as this unfolds in real time.
Yeah, I'm calling to action women who have a lot of things that they're looking forward to growing in. So they want to grow a little bit in their personal development. They want to grow a little bit in networking. They want to grow a little bit in speaking. They want to grow a little bit in writing. They want to grow a little bit in building a business. They would, all of these things. Those are the kinds of women who want to grow with empowerment and leadership and get back to heart-centered. Calling, purpose, all of those that's the ideal people that we're calling to, and to be collaborative instead of competitive. That's the call to the people that we're looking to serve. Also, I'm calling to the people who need some coaching to be able to get them to the places that they need to get to, and that starts with us first, and then your business second. So coaching, if you're looking for coaching and to be able to, for a coach to be able to help create a life that you deserve to have, it's needed in the worst way right now. And I know that we could all raise our hand right now for everybody that would be on the live, that heart-centered leadership is something that is critical at this area, especially with women. Really, we need to start really taking this a little bit more seriously, and be able to create these environments and these spaces so that women do have that opportunity to be in these kinds of rooms. So with that being said, bring a friend, bring a family member, bring your teenager, bring your niece, bring someone who can volunteer for a couple hours. Take off the whole weekend so you don't feel rushed, so that you can make it work and make a plan and have some space to be able to really enjoy the entire experience. What I've learned is that, by hosting these events, the reason why I love this so much is because we're creating experiences that last a lifetime, right? It happened, and there's proof of it, and pictures of it, and of in real time what was happening. because it's live. And so we have real time. You see Lori Murphy going down that stage with her confidence to a whole different level. You see in real time Krista holding that microphone and leaning in about what she's talking about, which is human trafficking and how we need to get actually serious about it. You see in real time Carolyn, our MC, taking on the girls' speeches like Sister Sonia spoke and turning it into an entire whole movement that needed to happen at that time. You see that live. We can't make that up. So we're calling for women to come be a part of that, to experience those kinds of atmospheres if you've never been a part of it before. If you need a little bit of more women time in your life, I know it's hard. Like, I still struggle with just having the time to build relationships with my friends because we're juggling so much, especially as an entrepreneur, building a company, hosting events. I want the fact that we're creating a space for women to be able to get together is so needed in its own. Like, just have a little bit of you time and don't feel bad about it.
Yes.
And then, bring a girlfriend or bring a friend so that it can carry on throughout the legacy. So that's to the women out there locally, upstate New York, Philly, Jersey, New York, Connecticut. Everybody that's in driving distance, take the drive. Everybody who's in flying distance, take the flight. It's worth the time and the money and the energy that you're going to have that experience forever. And then the next call to action would be we're really looking for some speakers that are really wanting to impact other people in a positive way. We want heart-centered leaders to be in the room, and we are just looking for all the things to make an incredible event. So a local DJ in the upstate New York, Finger Lakes area, who's a woman, so that we can lift women in the area. We already have some local photography things with women in the area, but just all these things in places, a videographer that's local in the Finger Lakes area. So if you know anybody and you're listening to this, and we would love to connect to anybody locally in the area so that we can bring them on and show people what we do and be part of the mission.
Absolutely. Well said. Thank you so much for that. I put a stamp of approval on that call to action because, again, something that is so needed right now. What we've been able to see was the transformation, was people that said, I've never felt this way before. I've never experienced this before. Oh my God, what you said. Now I know I need to move. So there was inspiration, there was actions taken. And that is what we're looking for. That is period, point blank, is to see the transformations happen, for actions to be taken, for people to for these women to believe that they can do it and they can do it well, especially with the support of the other women in that room and with Desiree and I guiding you through that process. That is what we're looking for. So if you're ready, continue to follow us, connect with us, and can't wait to see you August of 2025. But the great thing about it is that once we start collecting those that are in, we're going to start nurturing that, right? You don't have to wait until August to stay connected with us. We start that journey very, very soon, kicking off the new year, bringing you into our communities and making sure that, again, you get to know the people before you even get to the room. So you're not strangers, you're chatting right before. But even if you wait till last minute and you get in the room, trust me, you won't regret it.
Yeah, and I just want to say I agree 100% on everything you just said. And another call to action is like understanding sponsorships and understanding leveling to a different level. Like, I know that there is people in there who are like, I want to speak next year. And I know actually there were some people who said to certain people, you should be speaking next year. And I know that there's some people who were speaking that definitely could have been keynotes. And I want to shout out Kelly Brewer too, locally from this area, for the swag that she provided.
Yes.
For all those women, and that bag was incredibly packed full of just such amazingness. And to be able to show and to lift us in the way that she did. My daughter like left school, drove to her house. They all packed it in my car, and it was they had glasses, and then we had to drive it all to Jersey. And I mean, it literally, those bags were packed, and that was a woman coming up to me and saying, "I believe in what you do, and I want to be a part of it. Tell me how." And that's how sponsorships work. And everybody in that room asked about those bags, and we're blown away by the bags. So as a sponsor, you are investing in the mission, and you are up front as part of the whole journey, and your name and your company is excelled and is an authority and leveling up by being a sponsorship. And so that's another thing is like I pick certain amount of missions that I would like to sponsor. And it's part of, I pick part of like, where am I going throughout the year to be at these events, and who am I sponsoring? I pick that all ahead of time. Most of the time. I mean, sometimes people will like randomly hit me up and be like, "Hey, Des, can you, be a sponsor for this or whatever?" And if it's in a line and I'm able to do it, then yeah, absolutely. Because why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? If I'm not able to go, right? For say my kid has a tournament in volleyball, and Nicky Cuesta's 2-year anniversary, which is coming up for Nicky in November, which I hope everybody's going to, because it's just going to be incredible, and to celebrate you, Nicky, and what you've accomplished. But say my daughter's got a volleyball tournament I can't miss. Well, you know what is another way that I could sponsor you is I could pay for someone else's ticket to go, so that they can come. And it's still a way for me to be able to give back to Nicky, to support Nicky, to bless somebody else. Do you see how this works?
Yeah.
If you're able to do it, and these are the kinds of things that have really helped me throughout the year, because that stuff matters. It matters because I believe in her, and I want people to come see what she does. Right? And so I
think Des is getting a call right now too. Well, I would just share my story real quick on sponsoring Desiree and Jesse Cruz's event, the Mike story, February of this year, where I was able to bless to sponsor, and I wasn't actually going to make it there, but I did. Actually, at the end of the day, I was able to, and I think she jumped off, but she'll probably come back on. Just going to go for another 4-5 minutes, and then we will bring her on here. But yeah, so we were able to make it there, to show BALM Global, to showcase that, one, we're supporting our sister communities. There she goes. That we are. Hey, Dash, you got a call too. You have to go out and come back in. I was just telling them, perfect example of what you were talking about in reference to sponsorship was when you and Jesse had the Mike story, and you guys asked if BALM Global wanted to sponsor, and we were like, yes. And I made the payment, and I said, you know what, I'm probably not going to be able to make it until somebody was available to say, oh, things changed, and I was thankfully able to make it, because that's where I got to meet Rachel face to face for the first time. I got to meet Miss Queen. I got to meet Carolyn, Krista, just all these amazing new faces. And what did that do for my brand? That gave me the opportunity to, one, take photos, create content for my marketing. It shows that BALM Global supports not only their community, but other communities. Like, that's what sponsorship is about, is getting your business, your brand out there in front of new faces, new people. And what I love about sponsorships and vending and things like that is that we actually train on how to do it. That's one new thing that we were able to adopt this year, and, how to leverage those opportunities. We have a great training that we did, and it wasn't even a training, it was just a mini call with Danny Z, who's a influencer. He's a great person to connect with. He actually was one of our um in our Empower to Inspire. He was part of that event. He was our celebrity guest, and it was absolutely amazing because he came in, spoke to all of the attendees and told them how to leverage that event from when you get there, what you should be doing, how you should be connecting with people, what you should be leaving with when you're connecting. And all of that is important. Sometimes we go in and we're scared and we don't know anyone, and we tend to try to stand alone. And then we don't really get the value of what you're supposed to really do at an event. And what I loved about what we did with Warrior Women, that there was none of that. There was like no dead air. There wasn't not one person not speaking to someone else. Like everyone embraced it. And it's really, how do you leverage and take advantage of being in rooms, not just our room, but any room moving forward, and how do you want to create your stages as well. I go to events to see the aesthetics, to see what's going on, what are people gravitating to, so I can build my events. Okay, that was the alarm this time. I love live broadcasting.
This is a really great example of what we mean. You got to be able to just to flow and be able to go through it in the way, and so authentically and genuinely, because the stuff is live. This is exactly what it's just part of it. So yeah, it's just this has been a great testimony of what this is like live.
Yes, and not falling under the mindset of, oh, it was a bad show, or we got cut off, or the technology, because you have to fight with technology too.
Right.
So thank you for pointing that out, because we here at Bob Glow, when I know Warrior Women, we're all not perfect, but we're living like life the way it's intended in purpose. And we love authenticity. We welcome the hot, open, and transparency in each connection that we have with every woman that crosses our path, and we are ready to serve, because that's what God instilled in us, with the heart-centered leadership, and with being able to showcase it well, and be able to not hold it for ourselves and make our separate businesses better and scale and stuff like that. No, we are putting everything out there, all of our heart and soul, to really share that you can do this too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Des, I think we're good with that. All this amazing stuff. It was great talking to you, sister, as always, and really sharing this message. I love you to pieces. Let's keep impacting, and I'll let you close it out, and then I will close it out after that.
Well, girl, you already know I love you to pieces too. I'm just honored. I love the journey. You and I will have so much fun with this, and we'll grind to make this the best way that it can be, and serve in the way of the highest abundance that He's called to us. I know that we will, and the whole idea is to have people leave with a core lifelong memory that they have with an experience that they carry on through forever. And we're just honored to be able to do that. That doesn't mean that we're perfect by any means. We actually embrace the journey, and that it comes along with a lot of arrows. And so all of it, with technology and life and businesses and spouses and kids and all the stuff, right? I just got a message right now that I need to go pick up my daughter from the school. So those are we embrace those things, and I think that really truly brings true transparency and authenticity, which makes people relax a little bit and have fun with this, because it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be inspiring. We're supposed to put in the work, so thank you so much. I always enjoy coming on. I always enjoyed being on this, and I hope that you hear I hope you hear our hearts and our calling that's been placed on our life. God's taken me and Nicky to a level of leadership that we don't take for granted, and we are only looking to get better and to keep improving and to keep expanding, so that we can leaders create leaders, not followers. And I know that we're able to do that in such a great and amazing way that we've been called to, Nikki. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you again for your authenticity, your integrity, your really always putting your core values at the front and having him, Jesus, at the front of everything that we're doing. So I appreciate you always, ladies. As I always say, make every, when I say every, I mean every second count. It matters. That's the only thing that's going to move the needle is action. And you can make a decision, but if you don't put any action to that, it's really not good. It's going to keep you stuck, and we don't want you stuck. So definitely connect with us. Have a great day, and talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye, love.